Batisi TV Lone Rashapi Daka Frank Motors Kajaka Dekali Gabatamai Junka Tata Motors Halatko Ni Shillong Rinkat Bakanet Foodish Ordar Mapi Ninwan Ramani Hakir Dobiying Jompi
Ki Ngut ki MLA jong kaseng Congress ki bala syak Sospon ha All India Congress Committee Haduh Snem kinti kilaya thu ba Shen kin saya kendo lang na benta ban Shim ya karai ha ka bayadai bat kani ka benta ka Dr. Mazel Amperin Lingdo kabalong kanong yalam barim jong ka Congress Legislative Party ha ka jingya keren bat ka Batisi TV ha ka sngi palai jong ka arpu pratarik ubnaya yong arajar arpu ar kalaya thu ba ki Ngut ki MLA kin sa shong jingya lang ban perkhat kumno ban le ha ka bayadai bat kani ka jingsha Sospon ha ki Aicc Haduh Snem kinti halor kajing ajing kershan ya ke Sarkar Meghalaya Democratic Alliance balayalam de National People's Party bat kabala kershan ru da ke Bharatiya Janata Party.
See, the first observation that I make from this media report is that we've not received any such communication. That's the first thing that we can share at this point of time. The second observation that I make is that we were under the impression that we've been suspended since January of this year. Don't remember the exact date. So I don't know what kind of a suspension this further means, because that exercise we thought was over. The third observation that I would like to make is that strangely this suspension is for a period of 3 years from now. So which means that practically every other election that is going to be fought in this state, we shall never be able to be part of the Congress party. Because you have the elections, you have the LA elections in 23, then you're going to have the MDC elections in 24, and likely subsequent to that you will be having your MP elections. So what do you concur from this? To me personally, I would think that the Congress is practically debarring us from contesting any elections in the next 3 years from a Congress ticket. So that's fine. I mean, that's a decision that is theirs to take. But we can but only observe. I wish that this didn't have to happen in the media or in a public domain. I wish that we could have, had these kinds of exchanges, firstly amongst ourselves, and then, so that you don't drag this entire unnecessary debate on a public domain. So those are my immediate reactions. As to why the 5 MLAs of the Congress did not respond to a show cause notice issued to us in January. Firstly, we already had a discussion and a debate in-house on this issue way back in December 2021. We had discussed it at length. In fact, in one of our discussions, the Aicc in charge was also present. After 12 MLAs deserted the Congress, there was much chaos and worry as to what will be the fate of the Congress party in the state of Meghalaya. So we had written, debated in-house, along with the MPCC on this issue, and true, not everybody was on the same page on as to whether we should or should not join the MDA government. So at that point of time, the louder voice, or if you may call it, numbers of members of the district council as well as the legislative assembly who were for joining the MDA government were in a greater number than those who did not, or felt like we should not join the MDA government. So if the Congress party is a democratic party, then we ideally should have listened to the voice where there were more representations, because we had talked about it and there were certain pertinent issues that were anyways evolving at that point of time. The first of those issues was the interstate border talks with the Assam. Two of the members of the Congress party were made members of two regional committees that were anyways formed by the MDA government. Our opinion at that point of time was, if we joined the MDA and become part and parcel of decision taking on the issue of border with the government, it would have been in the fitness of things for us to be inside the government. Otherwise, there would have been a conflicting opinion between us and what the government says. So when our members and colleagues of the Congress party were already a part of the regional committees, we thought that it would be in the fitness of things for us to be a part of that MDA government, so that any observations, any further decisions taken on the border issue would be in line with what our members had contributed in those regional committees, especially in those hearings that were conducted and the subsequent discussions that followed the hearings. There were other reasons as to why we thought it would be better for the 5 Congress MLAs to be with government. We also thought that in the opposition there would be a split wherein 12 members would now be part of the TNC and the remaining 5 of us would be remaining as Congress. We had an assembly session that was coming up and we had to take a call as to we wanted to remain part of an opposition, which anyways we were in direct conflict because of the split in the Congress, or should we go to the MDA and support the MDA in all of the agendas which we thought were pertinent. So subsequent to the debate that we had had in-house, we informed accordingly in January to the MPCC in writing that we were going to be a part of the MDA and we had sought their consent over and above everything else. There was absolutely no communication coming forward from their end. Nobody replied to our letter. The Aicc did not reply to our letter. And in the month of January, after the festive seasons of Christmas and New Year, we regrouped and we thought it fit to approach the MDA government and met with their leaders, where we met the Honorable CM of the state of Meghalaya, we met the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister, we met several other ministers, and we had a discussion which concluded in the MDA inviting us to join their government from as soon as we had had the discussion. Now we don't know what went wrong. We didn't know what we did wrong. So we thought that we would not respond to a show cause because we felt that enough debate, discussion and dialogue on that issue was already made. And when no letter came forward from them, we were given an impression that it was fine. So we, the 5 leaders of the state of Meghalaya from the Congress party, met with the Honorable Chief Minister and he willingly accepted us. Soon after that, we were surprised when we were show-caused and suspended from the party. The matter did not end there, unfortunately. The matter did not end there. Shortly after we received our suspension order, including a show cause, our block presidents were removed overnight without consulting us. And you will not believe it, they changed and replaced our block presidents, and subsequently in my constituency, the same block president in 3 days started campaigning as a Congress candidate. So you can imagine the confusion that has arisen. This has also happened in other constituencies. It has happened in other constituencies, as you yourself have read from media reports. So now, how do you deal with a suspension that did not give an opportunity for any intervention by any other party representation? Nobody came from Delhi. Nobody called us. It was as if the PCC did whatever they wanted. We were under the impression that a suspension would mean you are suspended until further dialogue and discussion. But as you have seen, nothing has happened. And I am reading again from the media reports today that we have been suspended for a period of 3 years. So that clearly tells me that the Congress does not want me to approach it, nor to be part of it, nor to be its candidate in the coming elections. What do we have in mind for future course of action? We don't know. We need to figure out now, what is this suspension? What does it tell us? I mean, does a suspension allow us to take further decisions? I thought suspension means don't take any more action. That's what the word suspension means. So how can anyone take any other action? I don't understand. In this case, it is a one-sided action taken. We've taken no action, but it seems as if the PCC has decided a lot of things. And clearly, likely, they don't want us to be a part of the party anymore. Now you may ask, what do we do next? Of course, I am a representative of my constituency, and of course I will contest the 2023 elections. What gives them the impression that because we are not going to be offered a ticket from the Congress any longer, that we should not pursue our political careers that we have anyways nurtured so well for so long? So what do? So we, the 5 MLAs, would prefer to interpret the word suspension as don't take any other action further. Because that's what it means. Neither can we remain here, nor can we go anywhere, so it's fine. We are fine with this arrangement. And we will continue to serve the people of our constituencies the way we are. And we will continue to prepare for our elections the way it should be prepared. We will take a decision later. And anyways, the so-called suspension for 3 years document has not reached us. So we don't know whether it's just hearsay from the media, or whether it's really happening, or whether it has really been. I mean, what were they doing? You mean to tell me the suspension order issued to us in January was without authority? I mean, did they suddenly get approval now? But at that time, they had taken subsequently so many actions. So we leave the matter as it is, suspended in animation. We are a part of the MDA. We will focus on that. We will try and get as much benefits as possible for our respective constituencies through this coalition that we are in. We are an absolute number of 5, and all 5 are on the same page. We go ahead with our duties, performing our duties as MLAs, and we will continue to prepare for our elections, and we will take a call later, because really, can anyone take any other decision other than that? The situation is so precarious and unusual, so it's fine. We will take a call when the time is right. It is an in-house procedure that is being taken by a political party on their own political constituents. So can you say anything when somebody decides to do that? You cannot say anything. In fact, we've been reading a lot in the newspapers, in the social media about a lot of the comments that they're making, but we've refrained from indulging in useless debate. It is a useless debate because at the end of the day, we cannot afford any distraction from the focus that we need at this point of time. We need to work hard. We need to ensure that our constituencies get what they need, and what can be done, we get done. And we try to wrap up this term of political turmoil with as much positivity as possible. I will decide. I will take a final call shortly. I am working with the MDA. I'm liking what is happening. I'm appreciating some of the good things that I can see happening for me particularly and my constituents, and for the state in general. At the moment, I have no complaints. My final move I will make when that final moment can be made. Our hands are tied. We have to be cautious. We have to be careful. We have to watch what we say. We are elected representatives of the state of Meghalaya. We cannot indulge in unnecessary war of words with individuals who are not that linked to the politics of the state of Meghalaya. Let whatever or whoever is saying continue. We have nothing to say. We in fact have nothing against the Congress leadership. We appreciate the many things that the Congress has done and is continuing to do. But if when leaders of the party shut the door on your face, then we will be forced to take our own decisions when the time is right. It's a huge party with so many goods, with so many bads mixed. I don't want to interfere in any of their decision taking, because any decision taking for the last 5 to 6 months has not been inclusive. We don't know what's going on anymore. We can only see Congress candidates in our respective constituencies busying themselves with electioneering. It's very disappointing. It's very unfortunate. But what can you say? We cannot condemn the Congress. It is the people in the Congress likely that are creating this confusion. But what can I say again? Because if in the month of January we were issued orders of suspension, and today you say you finally got an approval for that so-called suspension, then it's becoming a little confused. We don't know what they're doing, and we don't want to comment. We don't want to comment because clearly they don't want us to be a part of the Congress, and there's nothing much we can do about it. So we need to now figure our next plan. In the meanwhile, all 5 of us are campaigning very vigorously. We are all trying our best to retain our respective seats. Unfortunately, we have been shown the door, and we have to exit if they so wish us to exit, because it doesn't seem like in the next 3 years they want us to be a part of any of the elections coming up in the state. So I don't know whether this is good or bad for the party, and I don't even want to comment. But I know that I have to work hard, and I now need to ask my constituents as to what I should do next, because at the end of the day, it is not I who wins the election on my own. I can only win in if the people who support me back me up. They would be the best judge. And I, for one, have a very close contact and a very close relationship with my supporters, my citizens, my residents. They will show me the way. They will take me forward. And I'm sure that even in the 4 other constituency of my colleagues, they will also adopt a certain method for evaluation, because it's very sad. We didn't leave the Congress. They've actually shown us the door. So it's fine.